You want me to start up?
Sure.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back. We wanted to do a quick update video just because we haven't posted anything in a while. Obviously, if you have been following our Instagram at all or any other type of thing like that, you'll see that we actually won a sweepstakes from eBay Motors called My Modathon Sweepstakes.
Yeah, so we're really excited. A lot's happened. We're excited about this winning. So Collin, why don't you tell us about the contest?
Yeah, so it was a pretty straightforward Instagram contest. The idea behind it was to post a picture of your off-road project, what you had planned for it, as well as a parts list on eBay Motors of $2,500 worth of parts for your build.
What'd you request, man?
So pretty simple stuff, some off-road tires, some new wheels, as well as some bucket seats and some off-road lights.
Yeah, all much needed for our project. So, and how'd you hear about this project?
Actually watching Grindhard Plumbing Co. They did a collaboration with eBay Motors as well as Weston Champlin and Lacey Blair, where they built a vehicle that was specifically for being very, dominant off-road. And then that was kind of eBay's segue into doing a sweepstakes for viewers.
So obviously we're very excited. Collin, why do you think we won?
I think that, the biggest thing was we have an interesting project. I was very along the lines of following the directions for the entry very clearly as possible. And I think it was just kind of a thing where there surprisingly weren't a whole lot of entrants.
Yeah, so follow instructions. It's really important, right?
Yeah, there was a number of interesting vehicles I saw on there, but the problem is either people didn't kind of do the formatting that eBay had asked for. Saw a lot of muscle cars on there, which were pretty cool looking, but again, they're not off-road vehicles.
And we talked a little about this, and you shared a little bit. There's some exciting things that happened. Tell us about what happened after the announcement.
Yeah, so after we got the announcement, we got message from eBay Motors on our Instagram account. They had me enter in kind of a one-time thing to get onto DocuSign to get the correct documents that we needed for tax purposes, things like that, especially for as large of a prize that this was. That stuff was all necessary. After we got that all cleared out and they basically said that we had won, they set up a phone call and I got to talk with the guys from Grindhard Plumbing Co. And that was pretty cool. They basically said congratulations and a couple other exciting things.
Yeah, so we're very excited. Huge thanks to eBay Motors. And I think the most exciting part that you guys are probably, interested in is what did we win, Collin?
So obviously, like I said, my original parts, but then I found out on the call with the Grindhard Plumbing Co. that they actually picked out an additional $7,500 worth of stuff for us. All right, so we're in handheld mode in my garage right now. As you can see, the Miata here. I have all the parts that we won kind of tucked in this corner here. So real quick, in no particular order, we have a Skunk 2 throttle body. We have LSD for the rear diff. We have a Garrett 2860 RS, also known as a disco potato. We have a pair of black harnesses, real nice. We have the Rogue Fab tube notcher, just kind of sitting in here in plain metal. Back here we have the Everlast 200 DV TIG welder and all the hoses that go with it. Over here is an aluminum radiator with the fans. This box here has all the intercooler piping and couplings in it. And that's sitting on top of the Rogue Fab tube bender itself. We have a Exceedi heavy duty clutch, the turbo manifold, and the turbo downpipes. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, this is a much needed spark for especially since you're going to hear about a few of the things that have happened recently, and lastly, what does this mean for our audience, our YouTube audience?
Yeah, so the great part about this is that means that we are going to have content to put out. This was becoming a concern because of some other financial things that was going on with both of our lives. We weren't sure how much extra money we would be able to be putting into, content to make videos and stuff like that. So this means that we have parts and we have new tools that we don't have to buy anymore that we were planning on but trying to figure out how to afford it. And a lot of that stuff's taken care of. So hopefully that means we can be a little bit more consistent going into, this year and posting videos.
Yeah, I'm excited for that TIG welder. We've been making do with flux and MIG welders, so hopefully you'll see some higher quality welds. Mm-hmm. We're very excited to announce all that to you guys. Next up in our news, big reason for why there hasn't been a lot of content. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about the crazy snow up in the mountains. We've experienced a ton of rain. You'll see in our B-roll shortly just the amount of damage and stuff that's caused. Collin, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so obviously for Southern California, it's pretty arid in general here. I know for some other places in the country, you guys are probably more used to snow and rain and stuff like that. But for the most part during the winters here, it'll rain a couple times. But ever since December, it started raining and raining and raining. And even when we're filming this is one of the first dry Tuesdays we've had in probably at least a month.
I think there's rain in the forecast the next couple of days, actually.
And it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Yep.
So it has wreaked havoc just as far as being able to safely film, especially with the truck. Even though it's covered, it is still an outdoor space. So we don't really want to be working with power tools, electrical that, could potentially get wet, cause, any kind of manner of destruction. But the other thing as well is it has also wreaked havoc on the garage. All right, so we're in the garage. As you can see, I've been doing some cleaning for Joe before he got home. I know how to break into Joe's place. Don't tell him, but he's on the camera. So obviously we've got this, which has been a project as well as another one that has been taking up quite a bit of time. We're gonna go over in depth a little bit more in detail what we've been doing, but more or less we converted Joe's car into more of a dedicated track car. You can see a little sneak preview, some nice seats and harnesses. But coming in, this is where the real carnage kind of went on from the rains. As you can see, this was my parts storage rack, and the rainwater just did a number on it.
Is that mold?
Yes, that is mold. So there was actually 2 more shelves on this that I took outside. It dripped all the way through. I've been taking pretty much all the parts off of here. Luckily, it's mostly metal stuff. Not really worried about mold getting into it. But, I was waiting at this point for that shelf to collapse. Most of the other stuff was in bins already down here. So I'm gonna be pulling out a lot of the stuff, figuring out what we need more immediately and what we don't, and taking back to my place what we don't need in any immediate future. The other thing is obviously my workbench in here, and don't mind this table full of crap, but we need to figure out where we're gonna move this to, because I believe the plan at this point is this room is eventually gonna get demoed. The mold and everything else, all the water damage in it, it's just not a safe spot to be in for too long. I have the window open there for now though, and it's been open for a while today, so we should be okay breathing. But I don't want to keep anything in here longer than we need to. Some of the bigger items like fenders and doors are just mostly all metal. Not a big deal. But pretty much everything else, we want to get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Ugh. Yeah, the garage is definitely taking a toll. We've already known that during heavy rain, we get leaks down the side of the garage walls. We end up with huge puddles. In other news, we have been working just behind the scenes because it's been raining, and we you know, sometimes it's a lot to film while do work, and we've been on a time crunch. So, you know, my track Miata, we've done some work to it. So we've done.
When's that video coming out, Joe?
It's coming eventually. You'll see the end results most likely, but we've put in new seats, new harnesses. There's no video for it, but I did get an intake, shiny new red piece, and we have the 60 wells that are probably coming off. You guys might hear about that. We've also been working on, you know, our friend's Miata, just kind of restoring that back to stock. All right, so you've seen the Miata in there with the new bucket seats and the harnesses. We've been restoring this back to stock. So it used to be a Lord, 60 wells, flying Miata, suspension, roll bar, and the whole bits. We've put this pretty much back to stock. It looks, you know, regular ride height.
And why have we done this?
Because it is for sale.
So if you're interested, please give us a message. This is a pretty clean car. Like we said, pretty much mostly stock at this point.
Yeah, it runs great. For the most part, you know, it was just sitting around, and you know, as you can tell, we need the space. So we're helping my friend restore this the best we can, and finding it a new home. And a huge 2 new pickups for us that you might see shortly is we've acquired a Boxster for hopefully some upcoming YouTube footage. We'll see how that comes out. The next exciting bit is this. We are losing sunlight fast, but you'll see the video where I picked this up. 98 Boxster. It's a stock car, but we figured it'd be a nice little project for us to really just dive into Porsche engineering. There's an engine issue with this, so it's not running, but everything else works. We put the battery in, all the electronics work great.
How much you pay for it?
500 big ones. So
hence why we took the chance to pick it up.
We're pretty lean on finances, so it was probably a bad idea because we're probably gonna end up sinking a lot more money into this. But in the meantime,
a great starting price.
It's a great starting price, and you know, worst case scenario, we get to learn about how these cars are designed, tear things apart, and do a lot of learning. So thanks, Greg. I was very thankful to my friend Greg of House Automotive. We were able to pick up a 98 Boxster. That should be a learning experience. There's engine damage, so we have to source an engine, and we've already pulled out a lot of interesting objects.
Oh yeah.
So we filmed it. We haven't edited it. It's coming.
Yeah.
And the other new pickup
is another pickup truck.
We're here in the middle of nowhere just to bring you this bit.
My new truck, or as I should specify, this is mine and my wife's new Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. We replaced her car. It was pretty high mileage. It was on its way out. So we decided to do an adult thing and get something that was gonna fill a lot of needs, particularly towing. It's got space for our dogs. It's got, this particular model is the Pro 4X, which means that it is 4-wheel drive as well as has a locking rear differential, which makes it great for off-road, including, you know, it's got factory installed skid plates underneath. The plan for this is to use it as a utility vehicle because we needed utility, as well as eventually probably be an overlanding vehicle because I am a very stereotypical millennial. But it's gonna do pretty much everything that we needed to. So I spent a little bit more than I typically would just so that we made sure that we had a vehicle that was gonna be dependable and be able to do everything that we wanted to.
It's a nice color, man. What color is this?
So this is tactical green.
We're gonna have to edit this in post. It looks pretty.
Yeah. I'd also looked at Tacomas. I just did not really like the ergonomics in the Tacoma, and there was just a lot of it where it really felt like a dated truck. you know, this is the last year that they're making this generation Tacoma before the new one. And when I test drove it, you could really tell that. Versus the Frontier feels like a modern vehicle.
Yeah, that 9-inch screen and the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, a lot of sweet stuff. Awesome. And last thing I guess we want to talk about, you know, a lot of things were mentioned today. You know, what can you guys expect from us coming up? A lot of cool things. Yeah,
so part of the eBay winnings I may have mentioned was that for the grand prize was a $3,000 check. Obviously, we entered this sweepstakes, you know, on behalf of our YouTube's social media. So the plan is to put it back into YouTube, mainly to try and figure out a workspace that we can use that's not going to get knocked out because of bad weather. So the money is going to be going towards trying to figure out a better either housing situation for the truck or for some of the other cars here, so that way we can convert the garage. We're still kind of talking back and forth, but there's a lot of stuff that has to get sorted out in the spot that the truck is being stored in right now. All right, so back on into the back corner here. You can see the wind has been completely just making a mess of our tarps. And we've got the Datsun. It's pretty much in the same spot that it was when we last left off. I kind of did some test fitting and some other stuff in the meantime. One issue is because these tarps failed to do their job, there was some water that blew into some of the open holes in the engine. I'm not sure if it's done any damage. We're gonna have to tear it apart, but I was already leaning on just picking up a running motor just to move things along with this project anyways. And this may be, you know, built motor eventually, especially for our turbo setup. Other problems that we've been having in this area is a lot of organic mass, basically because of the two orange trees that flank either side of this carport. And it's kind of hard to see at night, but if you can kind of see these little black or brownish trails up here, that's because the amount of just debris and stuff like that that's been falling down on top has caused a lot of pinholes. So it's like, even if this, you know, even though it's kind of shaded from the rain, water still seeps through and drips down. You know, there's a little bit of light, you know, surface rust on stuff on here, but luckily it's worked for the most part to keep the elements out, but we can't work in here if it's going to be wet.
So this is kind of the workspace we have for the truck. You know, as Collin said, this tent is shredded. Collin, what have you been looking at to maybe replace this?
Yeah, so the things I've been looking at is to basically do an actual steel carport or aluminum, and basically build in the sides to turn it into an actual working shed. Put in a roll-up door, run electrical to it, things like that. But in order to do that, part of the things that we have to contend with is this existing footing from the building that was here, as well as, like I said, the orange trees. We've got this smaller one here and that huge one back there that's actually growing into the utility lines. That one most likely is gonna have to get cut down. We had a feeling about that already. It was also encroaching onto the garage. That's part of the reason why there's so much water damage. But we have this nice bigger area over here that would be great to utilize. So we're gonna be looking at options to, you know, either put in a new shed here. Obviously, like I said, you know, we're gonna probably knock down the back side of the garage here. So we may have some extra space as well right here to work with. We're just gonna have to kind of see what's gonna be the best option. One other thing that we are looking at is putting in a gate, because this back side of Joe's place actually faces into an alleyway. So if we could actually put in a rolling gate, we could get cars in and out back here. It would make this space a little bit more useful than just using it for the truck. So some different options. We're gonna look and see what's gonna be best financially, what's gonna work best for us, you know, just time frame wise, and obviously for Joe's property value, because if we're gonna do some improvements, we might as well, you know, do some stuff that is going to help him in the long run.
Yeah, so let us know what you think in the comments. You know, there's probably something we haven't thought of. We're always open to suggestions. You know, maybe some general contractor out there has got some best practices they've seen from other YouTube channels that they've done for their garages. But yeah, we're working hard to make this happen.
So we're gonna be doing probably a couple videos kind of going over, showing plans, you know, different renovations we're gonna be doing, putting some of that money towards that, which is pretty exciting, and I'm gonna be happy to have a clean space to work in.
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys have any ideas of what we should be doing, plug those in the comments below. Well, that's the YouTube thing to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're excited to shoot some more B-roll, and we'll get some more stuff out to you.
So next time though, if you are interested in seeing what we do with all of these nice eBay Motors winnings, as well as, you know, our renovations and further progress on the Datsun and our other vehicles, give us a subscribe. You know, if you liked watching this and want to see more updates and kind of be kept in the loop, give this video a like. And we'll see you next time.